Hey Instagram, I hope you're having a good morning. I just wanted to come in live and say hello. I hope you're doing well. I've been missing our live meditations. Let me know if you've been missing them too. I am so excited to be creating a lot of stuff for you right now, whether it's a lot of the meditations on YouTube, they're there. I'm trying to create podcasts about COVID-19. I'm trying to create a lot of content that's hopefully going to inspire you during this time, get you active, get you focused, help you to do what you want to do. You know, you may want to use this time to relax and chill. Some of you may want to use this time to find calm and peace. Some of you want to use this time to, get busy and productive, and whatever you want to do is great. And so I'm glad to be live with you right now. Thank you for being here. It's awesome to have all of you live here right now. So I just want to invite a friend on, actually. Let me see where he is. Here we go. Inviting him to the conversation. All right, he's going to accept in a second. Hey,
Yes.
Lewis, how's it going?
My man.
It's good to see you, bro.
Good to see you, man. You're looking sharp.
No, man, look at this. I've been like growing my beard.
You gotta learn how to trim it up, you know.
I know, man. Yours looks sharp and your hair looks long, and
you put a lot of product in it. It can distract people, you know. It looks like you know what you're doing.
And dude, you're in your epic studio. I love it.
I know, man. Is it
how's
too bright?
No, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. I love it, man. How's it going? Everyone, Lewis Howe's in the building, in the live. It's good to have you here.
It's going good, man. It's going good. I miss your meditations in the morning.
I know. I'm thinking about starting them up again.
You got to do it again, man.
If
you guys want Jay to do more meditations, then leave a prayer hands and say, please, we need this.
I was absolutely, to be honest, on a personal level, I was absolutely loving it. It was just,
you looked like you were in the zone.
It was huge for me because I realized, this is strange, and it's like,
you never teach people to do it.
Yeah, exactly. But this is it. Like when you've lived something, you think that everyone knows that you do it. And this is what I've been saying to people, like you have something inside of you right now that you're not sharing with people. And I know that you've been running your programs and courses on helping people build a side hustle right now. And I'm like, people have like a gift inside of them. And I know we both believe this. They have greatness inside of them. They have a passion inside of them. And now's the time to let it out, because now there's urgency. Everyone needs to hear and know about it. And I'm really glad that you've been running that. What have you found? Are people learning about?
It's interesting. It's interesting to say that because, my mission and my business model has been a certain way for a while. And I was getting away from doing certain things. But during this time, I was like, what do people need the most? What do they really need the most? What are they struggling with the most? And I just started asking them. And they were like, I feel uncertain about my career. I feel uncertain about my business. CEOs were messaging me saying, I don't know, my business might be going under. I need to figure out how to make some side income right now with the talents that I have, with the things that are available for me right now.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I haven't done a webinar in over a year, but and I wasn't planning on doing any this year, but this
I remember you said it.
I was like, this is what people need. And I think it's important for us to say, don't only do what we want to do, but give people what they need right now and how can we serve them to the best of the ability. And when we come from a place of service of their need, not what we want, that's when we can make a greater impact. And I think you like to do 2 hours of meditation every morning at 6 a.m., in silence with your wife. And maybe getting up every morning and teaching people for 30 to 60 minutes isn't what you want, but it's what people need. And that's why you're a great leader and a great teacher.
Oh, thank you, man. And I'm glad that you stepped out of your lane, because I know what you told me, what your focus was this year. And I think that's part of what we're all realizing. And we know that you can have your own focus and you can have your own lane. But stuff like this comes across, and sometimes it feels like a train just literally just went through your plan. and then you're like, okay, well, this is where leaders are born. This is where, the toughest people come out and stay strong. This is where people step up and make a difference. And that's what you've been doing. That's what so many of our friends have been doing. But I think it's so important to recognize that anyone and everyone can do that. And it doesn't, you don't need to be. And I think that's what we're realizing right now with the healthcare workers, the frontline workers. I was saying, even the people who are delivering our food and our groceries, like, imagine if all of those people stopped. Those guys are the real heroes. Like, they're like the real saviors. Can you imagine if like right now we're like scared that we can't go in a grocery store. what if there wasn't anything in the grocery store to go to because there were no deliveries?
I know.
Like that would be bad, right? And it's yeah.
I'm curious, what's the hey everyone who's following me and everyone who's following Jay. Hey,
yeah, lots of love. It's nice to see all the love in the comment.
I'm just chatting with Jay and forgetting about you guys for a second, but I wanted to ask you a question. And actually, while people are on here, I want to give away a few copies of Jay's new book. I want to pre-order some for you because I interviewed Jay before all this went down, the isolation went down. We had the most amazing interview, and his book was supposed to come out like now, right? Wasn't it supposed to come out
literally 3 days ago? 3 days ago.
Supposed to come out now. I feel bad because I've got this advanced copy that's like golden nuggets, and I want to pre-order some copies for you guys. So what I'm going to do, Jay, is if anyone screenshots this, or if you share the little airplane button right here, and you tag me and Jay, I'll reshare a few stories, and whoever I reshare, I'll just DM you and say, "What's your address?"
Oh man, that's super kind of you, man.
I'm going to buy some copies. Yeah, I'm going to buy some copies of Jay's book for you. You won't get it till September. But yeah. I'll buy some for you, and I'll send you some of my book too. So
that's so kind, man. That's super kind. Thank you, Lewis. I appreciate it.
And I'm curious, what has been the biggest lesson for you in the last month through creating so much content, through shifting and evolving, through being more isolated? What's opened up for you? I mean, you're Mr. Isolation, monk life. Has anything changed? Are you like, oh, I feel home? I feel like I'm back.
Yeah, no, I think the biggest lesson that's been learned. There's two. There's always I always feel like there's an external lesson and an internal lesson to everything. What I mean is like an internal lesson is like just for me, and an external lesson is something that everyone can apply or everyone can use. And so like the external lesson for me has just been to realize like it's so important to work hard when things are good. Right? Like when things are going your way, like when things are safe and everything's fine, like that's when you work harder. Because
Why?
I think what often happens is we wait till now to work hard, and it's harder. It makes it harder. Whereas when you're in your flow and you've got momentum and you get in the lane and you go roll with it and you work harder, you set yourself up for times like this. And I think the problem is that when you get too safe and secure and complacent, you start to think like, oh, nothing bad can happen to me. Nothing can touch me. Nothing's going to. And then all of a sudden, something like this happens and everyone's back at square one. Everyone's affected. And so I was talking to a few friends and I was just saying, like, I think it's so important that when we get out of this, we don't forget that. And we don't just become complacent again and go, oh, you know what? It doesn't matter now that this has all gone away. I'm just going to go back to my same old life. It's like, no, use this as an opportunity. So that's been like a lesson. And another one that's been is that, and it's hard and sad to share, but I know that we both know that this is true, that in these types of times, people take their personal growth more seriously. So people are trying to take meditation more seriously. People are trying to take mindfulness more seriously. People are trying to use all these habits and skills. So I'm excited for the world we're going to create. Now that everyone's so intentional and conscious and aware, like for the first time, literally, your actions affect others. Up till now, we always thought our actions affect, we kind of knew it, but we still didn't care how we talked to the Uber driver or the Postmates person or the person at reception or whatever it is. But now you're like, oh, my actions actually make a difference. And I think that's going to lead to an amazing world.
Yeah, and even not even being rude to people necessarily. It's just the indifference of like, okay, I don't care if you're here or not. And that's the thing that I see a lot of people, where it's going to make us more present than ever by caring about people and saying, hey, how are you?
And you're already like that. I've noticed.
I do that with everyone.
You're like this. Whenever I'm with you, first of all, you know every receptionist at every place we've ever gone to. You know every host at every restaurant we've ever been to. Like everyone knows you. You know them. You're always super polite, super friendly, super present, even when we're sitting together. What have you learned during this time? Because I feel like you're already present and you already live in the moment. Every time I've been with you, I've never felt that you've been distracted, and we spent hours together.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's funny. My girlfriend mentioned something to me last night, Jeanette. She was like, you're so outgoing. There was a reference. There was a we were watching Forrest Gump, my favorite movie. Oh, she's never seen it.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, how have you never seen this movie? So we watched Forrest Gump. And there was a moment where someone in the movie was like talking to everyone, and she's like, that's just like you, where I like to be more reserved and not speak to people. I just want to like stay to myself. And by the way, I want to answer your question, but by the way, every time Jay speaks, I write down notes. So if you guys aren't taking down notes of Jay Shetty, make sure you guys take down notes. I heard work harder when things are good. And I'm seeing a bunch of people share this. So if you guys, again, if you're just joining, if you tag Jay
and Lewis, tag Lewis,
story, and you shared in your story, I'm going to send a few copies, pre-order a few copies of Jay's book for you. For me, yeah, I've always been this way. I've always been like saying hi to everyone. You know, there's in the building that I'm in, there's like everyone's working downstairs because the gym's closed, the restaurant's closed in our building. So there's like 20 people downstairs just kind of waiting to see what they can do. And I'm just always saying hi to people. It doesn't matter for me. I think that's just a good lesson in life is, you know, there's a quote that we probably both shared, which is like, you know, treat the janitor the same way you would the CEO.
Yes.
And I think if you just live in that mindset, I don't know who said that, but I think if you just live in that mindset, good things come back to you. You know, people in service are valuable no matter what level of service. The janitor, the Uber driver, the Postmates, the waitress, the waiter, whoever it may be. Everyone is a valuable human being. So treat people accordingly through a moment of presence, a moment of acknowledgement. And it's something that I talk about all the time. It's just, you can acknowledge people not by giving them money or gifts or some grand gesture, which is great also, but you can acknowledge everyone from just looking in their eyes and a gentle smile. You know, it doesn't have to be a big hug like I like to do, which I won't be able to do for probably years now to people. But you can be present, and that can be the greatest gift that someone gets all day.
Yeah, that's so beautifully said, man. And yeah, no, that's awesome, and I love it. And you're so right. It doesn't have to be. I think, you know, right now as well, people feel a lot of pressure. And by the way, I'm reading all your comments. It's beautiful to see all the love. Thank you for all the hearts that are flying through, and awesome. I'm glad everyone's listening to you, saying they've got their book open now. So do the same when Lewis says stuff. He lives it beautifully.
Hey, I get a notebook every time Jay speaks. I get a notebook every time Jay.
No, one of the things.
Card, just like quote cards coming out.
One of the things.
Jay, this is sorry to interrupt you, but this is timely. I think you have this massive book that you've been working on for 2 years that was supposed to come out 3 days ago, and there's got to be some type of, I'm sure there's like, you can spin it and say, well, okay, well, it's not coming out right now. My publisher and my team, we've decided that's going to come out at a later date. I think it's September something.
Yeah.
And you can still spin it and have this positive twist, but there's still it might be a moment of grieving or a moment of letdown or a moment of, I had plans that are no longer happening. And I know people had vacations, weddings, you know, reunions, graduations, plans that they were looking forward to, maybe for years, looking forward to something that is not happening. How did you manage not allowing it to be a big letdown in a grieving period, but see it as an opportunity for growth? How did you do that?
Lewis with the best questions always. Oh, this guy, we made a bit. This was before quarantine. I'm so glad it happened, and you probably saw it on our stories. But me and Lewis are both really good friends with Novak Djokovic, #1 tennis player in the world if you don't follow tennis. And Lewis and I obviously are really good friends, and Lewis and I both independently are really good friends with Novak. And so Novak invited us both to play a mini Olympics with us practically. And so we all got to hang out. It was amazing. And I'm so glad it happened like just before all this.
It was literally
like yeah, so I'm so glad it happened. And when Lewis asks questions, like I am listening. Like this guy asks the best questions, and he really has a skill for it. And if you don't already listen to the School of Greatness, make sure you go listen to Lewis's podcast. I think he asks incredible questions, and when he asks me questions, they really make me think. So I can only imagine all the other incredible guests he has on. So check out School of Greatness. Yeah, so it's a really good question, and I want to answer it in 2 parts because I kind of want to answer it for how I dealt with it, and then what my thoughts are on the people.
How did you deal with it when you had this, again, this bit, you're promoting it for months, pre-order, hey, it's coming out soon.
Yeah, so I think for me, as life's gone on and you've had many of these moments in life where things don't go to plan, right? Like if you and me looked at our lives, and I think if anyone looked at their lives, and you just look at the last, I've been alive for 3 decades now, and you look at the last at least 15 years and you're like, wow, like nothing's ever really gone to plan. And it wasn't always a pandemic, but there was something that didn't make sure that it was perfect. And so I've got used to, honestly, and I'm saying this from the bottom of my heart, I've got so used to just stuff not happening when you expect it to. And so I've just become super adaptable and moldable and flexible. And so my take was, the reason, and this is the reason why we feel pain, is because we attach significance to a particular moment, right? The reason why you and I and everyone feels pain is that we attach significance to that moment. And then when that moment is taken away from us, we think our significance has been taken away from us, right? So if you had graduation, if you had a big celebration, if you had a wedding, whatever it is, and I had my book, right? Whatever it is, and you've been preparing for months, like Lewis is saying. I mean, I've been writing that book for 5 hours a day for 12 months, like the amount of work that goes into it. And then all of a sudden you think that all that work is lost because you had significance attached to that moment. But the truth is that's not true. The significance was in the work you put in. And so the significance can be refound in this moment by shifting gears. So let's say you can't get married right now. And by the way, that's a big deal. I get it. I know how hard weddings are to plan. I'm married and you know, I know what weddings take, especially Indian weddings. But it's like, you can still celebrate that day with your family. Like you can still take a moment and virtually get everyone together and celebrate love. Because guess what a wedding was? It was celebrating love. And love hasn't been taken away from you. That's still yours. And so for me, my significance of the book, as you and I've been saying in this conversation, was my service. And so shifting to do the meditations made me feel that significance of service again. And service is the only place you feel real significance. So it's so important to think again, like, where can you find your feet in service? But I would like to explain this. Do not belittle anyone's pain. Like, don't judge anyone's pain. If someone's upset for missing prom, they're allowed to feel that way. If someone's upset for not getting their promotion or a pay rise, they're allowed to feel that. It's not good to just say to people, well, there's people dying in the world, like, be grateful that you still have a job. Because pain is pain, right? Like we all feel it. We all experience it. When Jada Pinkett Smith came on the podcast, she was talking about this. She said, pain is pain. She was like, my pain and your pain may be different, but we feel it the same. Right?
I love how she said that she was always trying to justify her pain as more powerful than,
yes,
more worse than everyone else's pain. It's like her whole life was, you know, I had to say how painful it was for me and get everyone to feel the pain of my loss.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly. So I want you to own your pain, heal your pain. And one of the things, anyway, so does that answer your question?
I think it's beautiful. I love this where you said service is the only place you feel real significance. And when we are focused on what we don't have and what we're missing out on and our thing that's not working and our graduation and our plans, then we're not thinking of service or shifting that plan into how can we serve other people. Yeah. And I think that's beautiful. Again, anytime Jay speaks, I take down lots of notes. Go ahead.
Go on. Yeah, should we take some questions? Guys, questions for Lewis.
I was just going to say, what was the greatest insight you guys heard so far from Jay? Go ahead and leave a comment there. And I'm seeing a bunch of people, I don't know if you're seeing this, a bunch of people tagging us in their stories. If you're just joining us, if you can share this little button right here and tag me and Jay, I'm going to give away a few pre-order copies of Jay's book. I'll send a couple copies of my book out. Anyone that I reshare on my story, I'll DM you with your address to get it, and then I'll make sure I order on Amazon for you.
You're amazing, Lewis. I appreciate it.
And if you haven't gotten Jay's book yet, where can they get your book? You should put the comment in there, a link in there.
Yeah, you can. I mean, you can pre-order it from thinklikeamonkbook.com. But I've been, you know, I don't want people to have to wait till September right now. So I'm like,
it's worth it. Here's the thing, though. If you wait, now's the time to take action on things you want. And so you can say, well, I'm going to wait 4 months to go, and then I'll take action. You might forget. Yeah. And something powerful happens. This is something I want to mention.
Go on. Yeah, I want to hear it.
Something powerful happens when you take an action and you invest in yourself, whether it be a financial investment, a spiritual investment, a relationship investment. But anytime that I hire a coach, and I usually spend a lot of money on a coach, because the more I spend, the more I pay for, usually the more I pay attention personally. I think we pay attention to what we pay for. Yeah. So I think Dean Graziosi said that to me one time. So when I make an investment in an event in the future, when I make an investment in a coach that doesn't start for a month, when I make an investment in a course, a book, I start to think differently automatically from that initial investment. Even if I don't apply what I'm learning or what I'm going to learn, But when I say like, okay, I'm going to show up to Jay's event, and I buy the ticket to his event, I start investing in my habits differently because I'm like, ooh, I feel like I need to just prepare myself for this. So pre-ordering your book now is going to start people paying attention to the information in your book, even if they don't have access to it. They're just going to start automatically paying more attention in their life because they say, I want to learn how to have more peace and purpose. So whether I have the book or not, I'm going to pay attention to peace and purpose daily. So pre-order his book, Think Like a Monk.
That's really powerful advice, man. Yeah. Thinklikeamonkbook.com. That's a really powerful, way of looking at it. I never thought about it like that, but you're so right that It's kind of like, and we'll take the entertainment example. It's like, if you know you're going to Coachella, or if you know you're going to a concert, all of a sudden, you're preparing your outfits. You're preparing the songs you're listening to.
You start working out more.
Yeah, you're so right. It's such a good point. It's a
if you wait till, I'm going to buy the tickets last minute, you may not have to prepare yourself.
Yeah, and then when you don't prepare yourself, you go then you feel stupid for not preparing yourself.
Exactly. Like, I forgot to wear this outfit.
You know what I feel like that about?
Socks.
I'll tell you what I prepare for and I love a lot is Christmas. So like for me, I'm like, before Christmas Day, from December 1st, I'm listening to Christmas songs. I'm putting up the tree, and when you get to Christmas Day, because it only lasts for a day, but you made it last for a month. And I think that's the genius of you stretch how long something lasts. And it's the same with the book. Like the book's obviously going to last time because the wisdom's timeless in it. But you're so right that you're preparing. I love that advice. Man.
Yeah. So how many of you, if you guys have already pre-ordered the book, you're going to type in me in the comments.
Tina says, I pre-ordered 9 months ago and can't wait to get it. You're amazing. You were probably one of the first people to pre-order. I really appreciate that. Kathy goes, I want your book, Lewis. So share that. That's what Lewis was saying, Kathy, that if you share the little flying arrow button and then tag Lewis and me, he's going to be looking through some of his to send my books and his books too. Yes. So you can do that.
What's something real quick, Jay? You talked about pain. I think this is important for a lot of people because a lot of people are feeling a letdown of expectation, which you mentioned previously. And with the letdown of the attachment of the expectation that was unmet, there's suffering and pain. Is that right?
Yeah.
So what's the process to simplify this? Even though there's no simple process of feeling messy pain, how do we detach without going through 4 years of monk school and meditating for 30 minutes a day for our whole lives? How do we detach an expectation so that we don't suffer in the moment and suffer for months?
Yeah, I've been thinking about this a lot recently, and I kind of started to think about it like the stages of grief, and I was trying to put my own kind of thinking to it, and I came up with these 5 A's, which I haven't really shared anywhere, but I've been thinking about wanting to put a little graphic together. I want to put it together. So it's like, I think it's normal that when your plans first change that you experience anxiety. Right? It's normal when you first find out that this is not going to happen. This is going to get pushed back. It's natural to feel anxiety. And here's the thing about all these levels. You have to allow yourself to feel it. So what we try and do is we feel anxiety. We try and squash it. What happens when you try to squash something that's growing? It explodes, right? It literally explodes. Imagine trying to squash energy. You can't. And especially if it's negative energy. And so I don't know what the right kind of thing is. I'm just thinking it through right now, but it's like you're trying to squash something that's like trying to combust. Basically, it's going to explode.
It's like I was taking a run the other day, and the sidewalk is pretty normal, flat all the way until there was this big mound. And a tree was growing underneath it. The tree was trying to grow, and it grew through the cement and broke through.
Exactly.
And created this huge mound that I tripped over. So it's like, something's going to happen.
That's it. So you can't. So anxiety, you have to feel. The second step is anger. It's natural to feel anger. If you haven't learned to train your mind, if you haven't had the coaching, etc., like you were saying, if you haven't had a coach, you haven't done mindset training, you will naturally feel anger. Again, it's natural. You can't hate yourself for it. You can't judge yourself for it. It's normal. Now, I think after you get through that phase, and that getting through anger and anxiety only comes through coaching, through community, through consisting, through up-leveling.
Through awareness.
It's not going to naturally just disappear. And you finally get to a place of acceptance and you go, I accept, right? Like, I accept that this is just, and right now, acceptance is such a a real thing that we can all acknowledge, because we're all having to accept this. Like no one's winning right now. Like no one's like, oh, this is great. Like everyone's in the same boat. And then after acceptance, there's a long period called adjusting and adapting, which is like, you're just playing around, you're adjusting, you're adapting. Maybe you're sleeping in too much. Maybe you're watching tons of movies. Maybe you're overeating. Maybe now you're trying to get into your routine. Maybe you're trying to play with stuff, but you're still making a few, you know, you're still not, you haven't got into a space. And then the final step is action, where you're like, this is it. I found my groove. I found my routine. I've got it down and I'm doing it, right? And that, guess what? We've only been doing this for 4 weeks. I want you to listen to that and go, which stage am I at? Anxiety, anger, acceptance, adjusting, adapting, or action? Which one am I at? And I'd personally say I'm at adjusting or adapting. I think I'm just a week away from action, like really going into action. That's
Come on now. You've been taking action for 30 days in a row, teaching people about meditation.
No, but you know what I mean? Like I genuinely, like, I feel like I've been allowing myself some downtime too.
Yeah.
In the evening.
You're taking action, but you're also adjusting, and you're like,
correct.
Well, my book's not out right now, so I have to adjust everything into a new plan.
Totally. Yeah. So I'm allowing myself.
You're both. You like shifted and took action in one way. You're adjusting in something else. Yeah. Physically, or you know, you might be doing another thing. So yeah. And I love these. I'm going to recap this again. When Jay speaks, I take notes. So when expectations are met, the 5 stages afterwards are anxiety, anger, acceptance, adjusting or adapting, and action. And I think that's powerful. Now, is there ever a place where you can get to, if you're, you know, trained in meditation, awareness, and understanding of things, where you can skip anxiety and anger and just go straight to, okay, this is happening in the world, I'm going to accept it. Let me readjust.
I don't believe that you ever can stop negative feelings. I just believe you experience them for less time.
So it could be 10 minutes as opposed to 10 days. It could be 10 hours.
Totally. So it's like when you wake up in the morning, no one loves waking up early. But now, instead of sitting there and pressing the snooze button, you complain in your mind for 10 seconds and then you're up, right? And so you've just squashed the amount of time of like how long you feel that negativity. But I don't believe you actually remove the anxious thought. Like I still get anxious when I go on stage. I still get anxious when I am doing a live or something new or going on TV, or I still get anxious. Like that's normal. That's a good thing. But you just don't get anxious for like 7 days before and like you know, that kind of thing.
Cripple you. Yeah. I'm curious what stage is everyone at? I'm seeing people posting the 5 different stages.
Yeah, it's good to know what stage you're at so that you know what stage is next. And then you start preparing for next. See, the problem is when you're in anger, you think anger is going to last forever. So it's when you're in anger, you have to go, okay, what's the next step? Okay, it's acceptance. Okay, what can I do to find acceptance in this, right? Like that's what you should be doing. But Lewis, tell us one last thing. I want to know from you, what is...
Have we been going an hour almost?
No, we've been going for half an hour.
Oh, I thought we started at 9. I was like, geez,
half an hour. No,
this is flying by. I was like, wow.
No. I need to go just because I've got a 10 o'clock, and we should do this again next week. I want to bring you on to a meditation. So you're inspiring me to start my meditations again.
I'm in.
So you should come on and do it. But tell me one habit that because you're into routines, you're very strict with your health, your habits, your person. What is one habit that you feel right now that has really strengthened and helped you?
I mean, I'll say 2. One kind of physical and one kind of internal.
Yeah.
The physical one, literally someone made a comment because I have this big jug of water. and I think when we are in scarcity, fear, anxiety, uncertain mode, we forget to hydrate. And it made me seem like a simple habit. Yeah. But we drink more coffee, we drink sugary stuff. Like, so I fill this thing up, and it literally tells me the time of day where I'm supposed to be drinking.
Oh, dude, that is sick. I love that.
And it's like ready, set, go. It's like, keep going. You're doing great. You know, it's just a reminder.
Oh, that is amazing. Did you make that?
No, Jeanette got it for me. It's
wow.
hydromate.com. I don't know.
Amazing.
No affiliation, but I just carry this with me. It looks silly, but I'm like, it's reminding me to drink lots of water.
I love
hydration will give me more clarity. So that's one tip. And then the second thing is, this is probably something I still struggle with, but it's extreme patience and learning how to have patience, because you're going to be let down in everything, in your relationships, your health, your expectations about your career. And that's just, you know, I'm just an impatient guy. I want things done now. I like it the way I want it. So learning how to literally, okay, just not react, breathe. This isn't the way I want it. Business, team, girlfriend, dog, like everything, just like, okay, breathe, relax. And the more I focus on patience, the more proud I am about my reactions as opposed to stressful reactions. So I would say drink more water and patience.
I love it, man. Everyone, if you don't already follow Lewis, please go and follow him. He's awesome. I absolutely love I'm missing our monthly catch up.
I know,
Lewis,
man.
make sure, like, since I moved here, which was 2 years ago, I think there's been
very 2 years.
It's been 2 years in July 1st this year will be 2 years. I think there's been very few times in the last 2 years that we haven't seen each other every month. There's very, very few. So I'm missing hanging out with you, man. And I want to call you separately from this too.
Of course, yeah.
But I'm glad we did this. And I want to bring you on again next week for one. If I start the meditations again, I'm in two minds. I keep trying to figure it out. But
just do a 7-day meditation. Focus on like 1 week, and then
and then see where it goes. Okay, cool. We'll do that. Thank you, Lewis. Thanks so much.
Appreciate you, brother.
Lots of love. Please go follow Lewis, everyone. Listen to the School of Greatness if you don't already. Incredible podcast. Please go check it out. Lewis, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate this. Have a great day, bro. Thank you, man.